for the company SES that launched on June 29th of 22. That was followed up by a pair of Starlink missions, the first on August 10th, the second on the 24th of September. Next up for this booster was the first lunar supporting mission, the launch in Japan that launched on December 11th. Launch went off as planned, but unfortunately that lander crash landed on the moon, starting a challenging year for lunar missions for both Japan-based iSpace as well as Roscosmos with the failure of its Luna 25 mission.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
T-minus 2 minutes, 51 seconds and counting. SpaceX is now offering video and audio on X, so now we will start to hear a little bit from Mission Control. So if you hear me pause to let them speak, that was because we were just listening into updates from SpaceX Mission Control. Going quickly through the rest of this. Next mission for this booster was February 7th for the Amazonas Nexus mission. It's a Spanish communications satellite for Hispasat. That was followed up by a Cargo Dragon mission to the space station, Commercial Resupply Services, or CRS-27, on March 15th. And finally, missions 8 and 9 were 2 more Starlink missions on April 19th and June 12th. Now, T-minus 2 minutes to launch. In about 15 or so seconds, we should hear a call out that the liquid oxygen
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
on stage 2 is complete. You just heard that good call out. And as we approach the final minute of the count, the flight computers will be taking control as stage 1 and 2 are pressurized for flight. Onboard computer will perform checks of the first stage propulsion system.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And with 30 seconds left in the count, SpaceX launch teams are go for launch, coming up to the last 20 seconds of the mission before liftoff. Coming up on the final count. Here we go in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of the 62nd mission for SpaceX of the year, Starlink 6-12, a record-breaking launch for the company. A bright and brilliant liftoff on a clear Florida night as the Falcon 9 rocket streaks up into the night sky. Let's listen in. Now 1 minute into the launch. Get some great views from our tracking cam here tonight, being manned by Stephen Young. Switching viewpoints for a moment, this is an onboard view from the Falcon 9 first stage. Is the vehicle now passing through max Q, the point of greatest aerodynamic stress on the vehicle. Hear that call out for MVAC chill, getting ready to thermally condition the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage, preparing it for ignition coming up momentarily. Now coming up on 2 minutes into flight. We're approaching the point called MECO, or main by station, and ignition of the upper stage, that Merlin vacuum engine. That'll be followed shortly thereafter by the jettison of those two payload fairing halves. Now 2 minutes, 25 seconds into flight. See here MECO on your screen. Stage separation coming up. We see here on a bit of a delay the views from the Falcon 9 rocket. And you see on the right-hand side of your screen a good view of the Sunshine State just beneath that MVAC engine as it came roaring to life. Now 2 minutes, 56 seconds into flight. Falcon 9 first stage on the left-hand side of your screen there. The hypersonic grid fins deploying. Taking a look back at our tracking camera with a clear night, you can see a great view. Right now you're taking a look at the second stage of the Falcon 9 there. Taking a look now. Payload separation, you see the Starlink V2 mini satellites now for the first time in their flight being exposed to the vacuum of space. Now 3 minutes 20 or 33 seconds into flight. Still getting some great views from our tracking camera here. As we're getting ready to come up on the entry burn. That first stage entry burn set to start at T minus 6 minutes, T plus 6 minutes, 4 seconds. Right now, the light that you're seeing at the center of your screen, that is still a clear shot of that Merlin vacuum continuing on its burn. The benefits of launching on a clear night, you can still see that pin dot of that lone Merlin vacuum engine. Now 4 minutes, 24 seconds into flight. The Falcon 9 first stage continuing to accelerate, traveling at a speed of about 6,900 kilometers per hour. Now reached its highest point, starting to arc down, make its way back down to Earth. Again, we'll start the entry burn in just about a minute and a few seconds from now. T plus 6 minutes, 4 seconds. A bit faint, but you can still see the Merlin vacuum engine there on our tracking cameras. That little dot at the center of your screen on the right-hand side. Here's an onboard view from the second stage on the right-hand side of your screen. That Merlin vacuum engine continuing its burn. on the left-hand side of your screen, the Falcon 9 first stage, tail number 1073, making its way back down toward the drone ship. Just read the instructions, stationed out in the Atlantic Ocean. Again, this booster making its 10th flight, and you see that entry burn beginning now. This burn will last about 20 or so seconds. Now T plus 6 minutes, 41 seconds into flight. The entry burn complete. The next big milestone coming up is the landing burn at T plus 8 minutes. So in just a little bit over a minute now, we'll see that entry burn beginning. Excuse me, the landing burn beginning. And things continue to move smoothly on both stages of the Falcon 9 this evening as SpaceX notches its 62nd orbital launch of the year, breaking its record of 61 launches it completed in calendar year 2022. Now coming up on the start of the landing burn in less than 30 seconds. T plus 8 minutes, stage 1 transonic as we are approaching the start of the landing burn from our timeline would begun by now. SpaceX's feed on a little bit of a
Stage
delay.
2 has entered terminal guidance.
And you see the start of
Stage
that
1
landing burn. Making its way now down toward the drone ship. Just read the instructions. This booster aiming for its 10th landing.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
And a little bit of moisture on the drone ship's camera there, but you can see
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
got a good landing of that Falcon 9 first stage, tail number 1073. Now returned down to the drone ship.
MVAC shutdown.
Now T plus 9 minutes, 30 seconds and counting up into the mission. At this point, we would typically continue to keep track with the mission as it continues to go on, showing you the trajectory. But as we mentioned earlier on the broadcast, because SpaceX has chosen not to provide either its mission audio or the trajectory map as the second stage continues on toward the deployment of the Starlink satellites in an hour. Apologies for the little technical snafu there. We're working on bringing you some great images from one of our photographers, Michael Kane, who has been out doing some photography covering this mission for us. It's out in the field. Is working on bringing the video. Also want to make sure to bring you some great stills and excited to pull this up for you momentarily. And as we are just a few days away from that super moon, the blue moon, we did have a unique opportunity with this launch, seeing this Falcon 9 rocket passing in front of not quite a full moon, but just a stellar shot there. Again, this coming from one of our photographers, Michael Kane. Hat tip to you, sir, for this one. Excellent as always. T plus 11 minutes, 54 seconds with our coverage of the Starlink 6-12 mission. But again, because SpaceX is choosing not to provide either mission audio or trajectory data for the second stage of the Falcon 9 and progress on its mission towards deployment, unfortunately, we are unable to do so. So we are going to wrap up our coverage this evening, but want to sincerely thank all of you who have joined us tonight and all those who have hit the like button, shared the stream, contributed through Super Chat donations, and to our newest channel members. Thank you to all of you who have been a part of this mission tonight. And for those of you who are, excuse me, looking forward to even more space coverage and action this evening, if you didn't go with the 60-second launch from SpaceX tonight, we do have one more bit of intrigue on the docket. Again, you're looking live at Launch Complex 39A, where all of the crew missions for SpaceX launch from. And tonight, in the overnight hours, we'll be seeing one of the crews return after launching off this pad, spending 168 days on orbit. Excuse me, 186 days in total for their mission of Crew 6. 184 days were spent on board the International Space Station. They are making their return now to splash down off the coast of Jacksonville, Florida. That coming up at 12:17 a.m. Eastern Time, 04:17 UTC. Before that, they will have one last big deorbit burn that will last 16 minutes, 4 seconds, preparing them for splashdown. That burn coming up at 11:24 p.m. Eastern, 03:24 UTC. If you take a look at our latest post on X, we do have the map of the trajectory for the SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft Endeavour. So if you happen to be in Florida or Georgia, and from your vantage point you don't have obscuring clouds, you may be able to see the Dragon re-enter, get ready to splash down as it streaks across the sky. Good luck to continue to follow the return of Crew 6. Suggest you hop over to our other live stream currently in progress over on Launchpad Live right here on our YouTube channel.